we are here. We are here. Live and in color. Ow! Yes, the champ is here. The champ is here. Yes, we are going live and in color. We are live right now and in color. The champ is here. Yes, we are starting right now. Intimate Discoveries. Welcome to Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, the podcast redefining the conversation around intimacy. In a world where connections often feel superficial, we dive deep, exploring the layers of what it truly means to be intimate. This isn't just another love talk. It's a groundbreaking journey through intimacy's cognitive, emotional, sexual, and spiritual aspects. In every episode, we peel back the layers of myths and truth, engaging with experts, sharing real life stories, and uncovering insights that challenge everything you thought you knew about closeness in relationships. Whether you're navigating the complexities of love, seeking deeper connections, or just curious about the unspoken intricacies of human bonds, Intimate Discoveries is your guide through the maze of modern intimacy. Tune in, that's right, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. as we unravel the secrets of truly meaningful connections. Intimate Discoveries, Unveiling Connections, where every episode is a step closer to understanding the heart and soul of intimacy. Yes, thank you. And we are here, the first episode after Christmas. And yes, we are bringing the funk. Bring down the funk. Ow! You got the funk. Bring down the funk. Yes. This is the champ here. The champ is here. Yes, they are going crazy for me. Ow! Yes. Who is here? We are bringing in one of our hosts, one of our guys are coming in to talk, and we are going to talk about intimacy. I have a gentleman just dialed in, and we are excited to hear his perspective today. Absolutely. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Awesome. Glad. Awesome.
Coming
That's
on
good to know.
here. Absolutely. Thank you, sir, for coming in and just for the privacy of this conversation, we will keep this individual private so that
Okay.
nobody knows who you are, but we know you are a male who's coming on the show being vulnerable, talking about his perspective and understanding how is it that we say men we often get intimacy wrong. I know there's what have you heard out there, good brother?
Well, yeah, I think that I can't say that we've heard intimacy wrong. I think
Mm-hmm.
that as a man, we view intimacy differently than a woman does.
Okay. All
I
right.
think
Talk to me,
that
good brother. Talk to me.
I think that as soon as we hear the word intimacy, we are
Mm-hmm.
thinking either having sex or doing things that lead to having sex. That
Okay.
that's what intimacy is.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't speak for all women, but a lot of times women think it's the whole entire package. So, like, in a candlelight dinner is intimacy.
Okay.
Holding hands, walking in the park is intimacy. Spending time together, you know, just spending time together, just y'all two talking about anything. It doesn't even have to
Right.
be talking about sex, it can be about anything. Those
Mm-hmm.
things are intimacy. But to us as men, they not. They just something to do.
Okay, I got you. Are you married, sir? Are you married?
Yes. Yep.
How long have you been married?
I have been married for 20. 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah.
22. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. Well, bless God. I'm glad
Mhm.
that you're here, and because we're gonna learn something. I was married. For me to be full disclosure, I was married for 22 years,
Okay.
and one of the things that I was able to learn um was that after 20 some years, I had intimacy all wrong. I didn't know that there was more to me than just being a provider and protector. Because I know that we're taught as men that that you have to provide. Man is the provider, and as I was ending, as my relationship or my marriage was ending, I started studying intimacy, and I came across this definition, and I'm going to share it with you, and hopefully it'll help you. Because there's intimacy is a level of commitment. And so this is how we define it here on our show: is intimacy is the level of commitment and positive, effective, cognitive, and physical closeness that one experiences with a partner in a reciprocal relationship. And there are four major components to intimacy. Like you were saying earlier, holding hands, walking through the park, all those other things. Those are aspects of intimacy, because there are cognitive intimacy, which you and I right now, we're in a cognitive intimate relation in cognitive intimate conversation right now, just exchanging thoughts. That's cognitive intimacy, just exchanging thoughts, sharing ideas with another person. And then there's emotional intimacy, which is exchanging feelings with another person, which is deeply rooted in the value of self disclosure. And then there's sexual intimacy, which, we often um, think that that's what we're talking about when we're talking about intimacy, sexual intimacy. This is what, we were taught, as men, that intimacy is, it's sex, and then there's intimacy, right? Or making love, like what's his name?
Right.
50 Cent says, I ain't into having I'm into having sex, not making love.
Right.
There's two different things, right? But they're all the components. And then the sexual intimacy is being attracted to another person and choosing to share one's body in the form of physical contact, holding hands, affection, and sexual activities. And then
Right.
there's spiritual intimacy, which is sharing feelings regarding religion and morality. And
Mhm.
so, how does that change your perspective now, understanding that intimacy is a level of commitment?
Well, it changes it because I always felt that you can be intimacy is you being intimate was a physical state of being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
you meet somebody at the club or whatever, you know, you go back to the hotel room or your place of mine and you go be intimate.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
You go and be
You know
intimate.
what I mean?
Right.
You go
Right.
be
Right.
intimate.
Right.
And you
Right.
might call her tomorrow, you might not. She might call you tomorrow, you might not. But for that
Mm-hmm.
particular thing, you are being intimate. And so when you think of intimacy, you think of uh, sex as all of it. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
the highest
Right.
point of intimacy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Not like your intellectual intimacy or your
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you I guess you can say that that's intimacy by definition, but
Right.
what the ultimate goal you're trying to get out of
Mm-hmm.
it
Right.
is not to be intimate. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? There's having an intimate conversation, and then there's being intimate with someone. And being intimate with someone is having a physical in the way is a having a physical attraction and a physical reaction with that person.
Okay, so
You
so
get me?
let's look at it from the definition that we're talking about, because this is one of the things that we recognize, that why we have challenges in relationships is because we're not working with the same definition,
Right.
right?
I give you that.
And
Yeah.
so when we think of intimacy moving forward, that we see it as a level of commitment, positive, affective, cognitive, and physical closeness that one experiences with a partner, right? In a reciprocal relationship. It's again, this when I look back on my marriage, I realized that I was not I was not reciprocating. I didn't reciprocate. Reciprocity, when it comes to like asking questions, right? What do you think about this? Or how are your feelings about X, Y, and Z, right? And I'm like, I'm good, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right now, I'm good,
Right.
right? Which there was a moment where I should have gone down on the inside, right? The commitment should have been to go down on the inside and share, right? But the challenge that I had was that I didn't have a safe space.
Right.
I
And
didn't have
and
a
that, and
safe
that's the
space.
other
Go ahead.
thing as well. It's difficult for, it might be a little different with these kids coming up now, but
Right.
if you are a man between the age of 35 and up, from 35 and up, it's
Mm-hmm.
we weren't raised to show vulnerability, especially to a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of,
Oh
we
yeah.
were raised that a woman doesn't want to see a vulnerable man. A woman wants to be safe. You know what I'm saying? A
Right.
woman wants to be secure. You know what I'm saying? The safest
Right.
place for a woman to be is in my arms, but not if I'm whimpering and crying over this or I'm vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? She's not gonna feel safe. So whatever you got going on, you deal with that internally and move forward because people are looking for you for strength.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, no, you're not even thinking about, is this a time for me to open up and be vulnerable? That's not what she
Right.
want. You know what I'm saying? It's like having an attack dog. You don't want your attack dog
Mhm.
to be all loving and caring. No, I didn't buy you for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I bought you there. Somebody come in the house to attack. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
right. And
Absolutely.
so that's what we as men, when we grow up, that's what we grow up to do. We take care of the house.
Right.
We take care of the yard. We take care of the
Mm.
bills, and we do all the other stuff. But all that warm and fuzzy stuff, that she's not looking for. She, saying, she doesn't need that more than the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
yes,
She don't
and
need
that
that
and that.
more than other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What you want? Well, we can be warm and fuzzy in the projects, or I can be, I can be a little rough around the exterior. Or we got
Right.
this nice house and this nice yard. You got a nice
Right.
car to
Right.
drive.
Right.
You ain't got to worry about where we gonna eat at
Right.
because I'm handling things. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So
Right.
that's the
Oh
way
my
we was
God.
raised. That might
Right.
be
Good
different
brother.
now.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. No, no, but I'm saying to you, and I really appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate your honesty. Because I had that same perspective, man.
Yeah. Most men, I don't know how old you are, but most men my
I'm
age, I'm in
50.
my
I'm 50.
50s.
I'm 50 going on 51.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But the thing is that
Yeah. We're not trying to be vulnerable. if
right,
we if we vulnerable, you catch us at a bad time. You know what I'm saying? We just lost our mama or our best friend or something like that. We lost our job or something like that.
right,
You
right,
catch a person who is a man's man that's
right.
vulnerable. You caught him at a bad time. You know
A
what I'm saying?
bad
He ain't quick to
right,
share his feelings, especially with a
right,
woman.
right.
No, what? No.
Absolutely. You and so but here's the thing, right? And good brother, listen, I hope I can help you with this part here, right? Um During the latter part of my marriage, right, I actually saw my wife having an affair with this guy,
Oh wow.
right? Yeah, I saw her. I saw everything going on, right? I saw him going in and out of my house. I saw them, I saw this going on.
Right.
And the thing what I realized that he wasn't paying any bills, right?
No.
But he was providing this safe space for her, um, and they had this connection that continued in spite of the pain that I was experiencing as me seeing this stuff going on, right?
Right.
And so as I'm looking at this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, how is it that um um I'm really getting to be vulnerable with you, right? So I'm having these conversations, right? And I realized that I was missing it because I was locked in, just like I'm hearing you being locked in as a provider and protector, right? And so I had
Right.
this conversation, right? I had this conversation. So and we were pretty much because it's some like say I was studying intimacy and I'm sharing that I'm learning this stuff and I'm trying to improve on my relationship. I'm trying to like, hey, hold on, I'm trying to get it now. I understand
Yeah.
what's going on, da da da.
Hmm.
And then so it came to a point where she told me that she said, hey, what did she say? Oh, I was doing my work, I was working, and then there was a moment that he came and took me um from my work and we made love, right? I'm like, what?
Hmm.
He did that? I didn't know that I could have been that emotionally attached to her, right? To just pull her away and go and have sex or make love or whatever it was, right?
Right.
Because I was locked in on being a provider.
Right.
That turning on that desire to be sexually intimate, to be emotionally connected, to make
Right.
love, whatever it was,
Hmm.
those feelings and emotions, I never really accessed them.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I now what usually what will happen with
No,
a
no, 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 no. Hold on. No, no. So what's happening is, so you and I are in a intimate conversation right now, right?
right.
Right. So I'm sharing with you, right,
Hmm.
what I've experienced, right?
Hmm.
So what I need you to, if I can ask you to now shift from talking about other people, right, to me. Like this is so I see what you're saying, Franklin. Um, and so how I'm seeing it now in my relationship is it possible
Okay.
that
I got what you're saying.
that
Hmm.
I'm missing. This is what I how I see it
Hmm.
right now, because I'm like sharing you like some vulnerable stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I ain't talking about like
You ain't talking
pie in
about
the sky stuff.
research
I
and
ain't talking about
patterns
research. I'm talking about
and
me right here, right?
right.
Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I was married 20 some years, right? And so if we don't take a look right now, right?
I got you.
If we don't start looking at right now, it's possible that you're going to be missing it, right?
Right.
You're going to be missing it. You might be missing it just like I missed it before, right?
Right.
And
Hmm.
so
Yeah. I'm with you.
we're on this call right now, right? In hopes that you don't miss it ever again,
Right.
right?
Well, yeah. And so yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Um, I will say that for me, the intimate conversations,
Mm-hmm.
the spiritual intimacy, and the um, definitely the emotional intimacy
Mm-hmm.
um, was not or is not communicated from
Right.
her. It definitely ain't communicated from me
Okay.
because I'm not. I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I grew up, and as a man, you grow not to need it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want to know that somebody's caring for you. You know what I'm saying? There's this guy who wrote the five love languages, blah blah. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you receive love one way, you give love another way, and if you receiving it the way it's supposed to be received, then as a man, you good and you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And vice versa. But when you start talking about the emotional intimacy and the cognitive things like that, you know what I'm saying? You
Right.
get to the point where you have to, I feel that I need to ask my wife, like, hey, um, you know what I'm saying? Are you feeling, how is our level of intimacy in the well, not necessarily that. What are you missing that I can do for
Right.
you? I guess
Right. And
that's what you need to ask.
okay, and so
What
and
am I
so so
missing? What what
okay,
are,
so,
what are you
so
missing?
okay,
Because I want to make you happy.
right. So,
Right.
but the thing is that it's going to be a challenge for you to make her happy, right? No, not make her happy, but to help her to be happy because you can't make her happy, right? You can help her to be happy. The thing is that until you're able to reciprocate, until you are able to make the full exchange, right?
Right.
It's like consider your marriage right now as you're as a drug dealer, right?
I got you.
And you got to make that exchange, right? And for 20 years, right? When it came to the emotional exchange, right? Because in an intimate relationship, you're required to reciprocate. And this is what I discovered, that I was not reciprocating because I did not have the emotional vocabulary to go that far, right?
Exactly.
Because I wasn't given permission to feel. Because I had to be tough, I had to, hold on to my emotion. I didn't get to experience, when where I'm, and like I say, just for me, I up until like two years last year, was my first time crying at a funeral.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when it came to sharing and empathize with someone who experienced a loss, I couldn't connect with them like that.
Right. Well, but you know what? That comes from life experiences. Like when I was in my 20s and 30s, certain
Mm-hmm.
movies I'll watch and you have no emotional response. Now in my 50s, I'll watch these movies and I'll be like, oh shoot, what is happening to me right now? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I'm saying? But that comes from life experience and certain things that you didn't experience as a
But
young person. When
okay,
you
so
get
when it
older,
comes
you experience them or you know somebody who experienced them. And so you have a more empathetic heart the older you get.
right, right, absolutely, and
Yeah.
so I see I have a couple individuals on the podcast too. I got Big. Who's this big person? Who is this big person? Uh huh. Okay. Well, anyway, going back to what we were saying, good brother. Yeah. So and so, what I'm saying to you is that in an intimate relationship, right?
Yeah.
In an intimate relationship, it requires a commitment,
So it's just you and
and the
Susan?
commitment is to reciprocate, right? The commitment to being positive, effective, cognitive, and that physical closeness that one experiences, that your wife should experience. Your wife should experience a level of closeness with you on a cognitive level, on an emotional level, on a sexual and a spiritual level. That she should be able to, that in your marriage you should experience, this should be flowing in your relationship on all of these aspects, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And now, how do we begin to now to start the, how do we do that?
Right. And that's a very good question because when you love somebody and you know that they love you too, you want to give them everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't want them to have to want for anything, both material wise as well as, emotional. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But
Right.
um, so you want to make them happy. You want to make them smile.
Right.
You want to do things for them.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying? With the oh, go ahead.
what if I share with you? Let me say this. What if I share with you, right? If you were if you begin to experience more emotions, right? And we're not talking about crying.
Right.
We're not
I'm with
talking
you.
about snotting in the grocery store. We're talking about being able to experience other emotions, other feelings, and be able to connect with those feelings. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna get my feelings well. Hold on. So I have a feelings wheel, right? That I use to when I'm having different conversations. Hold on, give me like 1 minute. Hold on. Man, good brother, I appreciate you. But so let me show you this here, right? So I have this feelings wheel that I use that I got this actually through therapy, right?
Okay.
And so in this feelings wheel, we have primary, secondary, and tertiary emotions, right? So we
Right.
have what we've been feeling as mad. So they have mad, scared, joyful, powerful, peaceful, and sad, right?
Okay.
Of these emotions, of these feelings right now, um, I was giving permission. I couldn't tell anybody that I was sad.
No.
They often you only experience when I was joyful, happy, powerful, and mad.
Right.
Right? I couldn't tell you if I was scared, right?
No.
And I couldn't tell you if I was sad, right?
No.
Now watch this here. Because I couldn't tap into those emotions, those feelings, right? There is some secondary emotions, like now there's guilt under the sad part, right? There's guilty, ashamed, depressed, lonely, bored, and sleepy, right?
Hmm.
And then outside of that, the tertiary emotions is bashful, stupid, miserable, inadequate, inferior, and apathetic, right?
Okay.
So now because you haven't been able to feel sad, right? You couldn't express that you were being sad. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 situations that your wife could present to you that you can't even connect on,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I got you.
Right. So then now we shift over to being scared, right? Because you couldn't tell anybody that you felt scared, right?
Right.
Right. So there's rejected, confused, helpless, submissive, insecure, anxious, and then we go past that when we have embarrassed, foolish, weak, insignificant, discouraged, and bewildered, right? And so now we're going again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 other feelings right now. So we got now 24 feelings that your wife could be presenting to you. And we have 24 of these feelings that you cannot connect, that you cannot make an exchange in an intimate relationship simply because you have not been given permission to even start at the basis.
Well, yeah, I agree with you that, I wouldn't say didn't wasn't given permission.
Okay.
I
So so
think those are
so
things. I
so
think those
who
emotions.
right. So let me ask you. So you said that you weren't given permission. So where did you have an opportunity to tell somebody that you felt rejected?
When did you? Well, all the time. You
Who
just,
who who, who
I
did you tell?
no nobody's n- I, nobody's telling me how to feel or
Right,
how not to
right,
feel.
right,
I'm telling myself that. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
But
you know what I'm
okay,
saying? When I'm
so
scared, I'm
mhm.
scared. But I
But who
can't
did you
have my
tell?
wife and
Who?
kids see me scared. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's my
Right.
point. That's
It's
my
not the fact that
point.
I'm not scared. I'm
That's my
scared.
point. Right.
But I gotta
That's
I
my
gotta
point right
move
there.
in the
That's my
I gotta
point.
move
Okay.
in the fear. I
So
gotta
so
move
so
through the fear. But
right,
I'm
and
still
that's my
scared.
point.
And if
So
I'm
so let me
sad,
so
I'm still sad. I'm
so
I'm
so
still sad. I
so,
might
so
not have to
mhm.
I might show it not to you or not to them,
Right. So
but
so
I'm
so
still
now
sad.
right now watch this
Yeah.
here. Watch this here. Because you aren't able to properly assign these emotions and feelings, you make misjudgments.
Okay.
You make so now in these moments where you can't let them know that you're scared because I'm scared to make this. I'm scared to sit down with this guy to talk about the finances. I end up using a credit card because I didn't
Okay.
want to see. I didn't want to see seem like I was helpless. I needed to show my family that I knew the answer. So instead of me budgeting, instead of us, budgeting the finances, right? I put it on a credit card, right?
Right.
I end up now making a improper decision simply because I couldn't be vulnerable in this moment to say, "Baby, I'm scared. Can you go talk to the guy? Because I got like a C in math. I'm not really good with calculations and stuff like that. But can oh my gosh, can you go talk to the guy?"
Right.
Can you go talk to the guy, because baby, I'm vulnerable with you right now, right? I'm letting you know I'm scared because nobody really sat down with me talking about finances, and I don't want to feel embarrassed because I
Right.
don't know, right? And I don't want to look like that in front of y'all, machine. And because you couldn't do that, because you were taught that you couldn't be vulnerable with your wife, right? Watch this. You put it on a credit card, and this credit card that you got now is 27% interest,
I got you. Yeah.
right? All now think about that. Think about how that resonates right now. Can you just be honest, right? That has happened.
Yeah, I can see how, because you a person wasn't, or I wasn't vulnerable, that the decisions that I've made may not have been the best decision, because there were decisions that were made in a vacuum. They weren't
Right,
decisions that were made because you know what I'm saying, you make a decision and move
right.
forward, but not make a decision from a place of vulnerability. Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
give you that.
Come on,
Or not,
come
I
on,
wouldn't say
man.
make a decision, but
Right. No, you're
expressing those
right.
feelings and being able
Right.
to move forward. But you
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying. But I go back to the feeling
Mm-hmm.
of this woman is not looking for somebody to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
She's not
Right.
looking for somebody to be vulnerable. You know
Okay.
what I'm
So
saying?
let me ask
I
you.
don't
So
know
let me
what
ask
your
you.
situation was with your,
Right.
what happened with your
Well, you can
wife
ask. Hey,
and
you
the
can ask.
and the
You can
and
ask.
the other guy. Oh, okay.
Right.
But you know, I in my opinion, I don't see a woman being intimately or emotionally or physically turned on by a man crying all the time, or
No.
man,
No.
you know what I'm
No.
saying,
No one.
or a
No.
man admitting that he can't do, or admitting that a man, or admitting that he needs help with, you know what I'm saying. No, it's just
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask. So when you next time that you're talking to your wife, ask her,
mhm.
baby, can I be? How do you feel if I'm honest with you about how I feel? Would you appreciate the fact that I'm not always tough? And the thing is that after 20 years, she know you don't know everything.
Right, exactly.
So you to come to me and like fronting. It wasn't that a song? Ain't no future in your
Ain't no
fronting.
future in the fronting. That's right. Ain't no future in the front. That's the truth.
And so, but the thing is that she already know what you don't know. She already
Right,
know what you don't know. So to be able to and that's where the frustration I found came into play. Right, the frustration came into play for me was that because I didn't tell her my truth, right? And one of the reasons why I didn't tell her my truth, right? Because I got pissed off, right? I get pissed off, right? Because again, going back what I heard her tell me, what he would tell me, how he felt. Or he was honest with me about how he felt about stuff, and he would tell me about myself, right? I'm like, are you serious? And so the thing for me was that I learned that I needed a safe space to express who I am, right?
right, exactly.
but I didn't have the confidence to do it.
Hmm.
I didn't have the
Well,
confidence to
and
do it.
and I'll give it to you. We as men, we I'll say this: we as men, we don't really look for a safe space to express our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we look for a safe space for us to express ourselves. You know what I mean? We don't want
Right.
to have to put on a front all the time. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? We want to be able to be our real selves. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
maybe you like to laugh at corny jokes, or maybe
Right.
you little quirky things that you might like to do or don't like to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You want to be in a place where that's acceptable, especially at home in your own house where you work and pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be made to feel some kind of way about the way that you are in your relationship. That's
Right.
one thing.
The thing
Um,
is that
but it's
uh-huh,
difficult for a man to express vulnerability. It's really
vulnerability.
and because I know, we're both the same age, so around the same age. So I
Mm-hmm.
know there has been a time in your life when you were younger and you expressed vulnerability and you almost felt like your heart got taken out from underneath you. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Stop that crying. What are you, a sissy? What are you, you know what I'm saying? You don't do that. Stop doing. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you were feeling in that moment that you were expressing your
Right.
vulnerability, it might
And
not have
so
been received how you wanted it to be. So you
right.
just learn to turn that off. Or if you do turn it on, you don't turn it
Mhm.
on like you turn on your other
Right.
emotions.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm
right.
saying?
So let me say it this way here. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, right? And
Hmm.
I didn't were you talking about getting to the place of crying, right? And somebody correcting you like, what you crying for? You better not be crying. Watch this. I didn't get to that place.
Mm.
I was not allowed to get to that place where somebody even saw me crying that they can tell me to stop crying.
Okay. Yeah.
I, I couldn't even
Hmm.
I couldn't even get to that place where I was crying, right? I
Right.
was like, huh, huh, huh. And then somebody said, stop crying.
Hmm.
I didn't even get to that level of feelings.
Right.
So for somebody to even try for shoot, man, I wish I'd have got to the moment where I was like I can at least like show like I was about to shoot. Because if
Hmm.
you showed any level of weakness,
Right.
you got ate up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Period. So
Yeah. Yeah.
to even get to the place of like, oh no, you no, those feelings, those emotions, no, that so that
right.
emotional numbing started
Yeah.
at a really young age.
Right. Yeah. And yeah. So what I'm saying is that so it's difficult to turn that back on when you don't
Mm,
feel it's difficult to turn that back on just period. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because number one, you already got burned by it last time you did it. Number two, probably growing up, people were telling you how a man's supposed to act and what's a
right,
man supposed to do and what a man not supposed to do.
right.
So you just learn, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like I'm trying to find the right word, but it's almost like a coping mechanism.
Right,
You
absolutely.
learn, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You deal with your emotions differently. Some people work
So,
out, some people
mhm,
be physical. Like sometimes, you might, you
right,
know, because you have anxiety about what's going on outside
right,
your
right,
family, you come home and you might beat on your wife or beat on your kids, crazy stuff
right.
like that. You know what I'm
So,
saying?
so,
Or sometimes you
so,
might turn to alcohol or turn to drugs. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because
So,
your body needs that kind of outlet. And if it's too much
absolutely,
for you, and you
right,
got your past life experiences that's weighing down on you, man,
right,
it could really be, a hard, it could be a hard pill to swallow, a hard road to toe. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Really
So
hard road to
now
toe.
going back to our question, now based on what you've been saying, and you're an educator, and you're a smart man, and so when it says why do men often get intimacy all wrong, right? can you agree that we have been getting it wrong because of our training?
Right. We've been getting it wrong based on our training and our experiences in life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
quite sure that, even though this is a podcast, we're going to keep it real. I'm quite sure you have, in your teens and in your early 20s, before you really started getting into yourself sexually, you
Mm-hmm.
had older people telling you what they did with their woman and what they did, how they, you know, beat it down and did this and did that,
Right.
and how she
Right.
was loving it and screaming and hollering and all this kind of
Right.
stuff.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so you thought that the next time you was with somebody or the first time you with somebody, that's what you're supposed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you did that and you got a positive response from it, you know what I'm saying? You know, you realize, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing it this way and she liking it, you gonna do it that way to the next one and the next one, the next one, next. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then
You
so
ain't
and
gonna
then
stop
so
until the one tell you she don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
but
Or you
but
can't
but
do that
how
like that no more.
often but how often are you giving her space to be honest with you about the way she like it or not?
Later on,
Right. But that's okay. So
yeah,
so so,
later
so
on
let's
we can talk
okay. So
about
let's
what you like and what
right
you don't
right
like. You know what I'm
right right
saying?
right.
Or
Okay. So
sometimes in the moment, you
right
know what I'm saying?
right
In the moment she might be
right
like, she don't like it like that.
right
You know what I'm
right
saying? But that's all dependent on her. Some
right.
women are taught not to speak, just let it just happen.
And
And
then
that's
so
it.
if
You
they
know.
if they don't speak and then you end up missing it, right?
Right, exactly. Both of y'all
And then
miss it.
so
Then you wonder why
right
she
and
ain't
then
calling
so
no more or why she ain't into you no more. You know what I'm saying? You both miss it.
right. So we if we can say that, again, one of the things that I look back and this is how I again came up with intimate discoveries and being able to
Hmm.
help men because I look back and I had to do some hard looking to kind of figure out how is it that somebody felt like I deserve to be seeing what I'm seeing. I deserve to be experiencing what I experienced. And so I had to kind of look and see where did I miss it?
Right,
Where did I miss it? And where I missed it, where I discovered that I missed it was there in this moment of being vulnerable, being
right.
able to truly reciprocate, right?
Right,
And to be able to again to be able to have a commitment that if she said, hey, I don't like it the way you do it this way, right?
right,
And I'm like, well, you messing with my manhood. I'll tell you, again, me being vulnerable with you, right?
right.
Came a moment, right, where she's like, hey, Frank, I want to show you how to make love to me, right?
You
And
don't
I'm
need no
like,
help. What do you mean show me? You know what I'm
that,
saying?
that-
You be like you like Ike Turner. Help Ike. Ike don't need no help.
right,
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right, right,
Yeah, I'm
right.
with
And
you
so,
on that. I'm
right,
with
no,
you on
no,
that.
no, but
You know what I'm
watch
saying?
this. But watch this, right? So because I said I don't need help, right? And I was not because that required a deeper level of vulnerability for me
Exactly.
to say, hey, I don't, you know what? Maybe I'm missing it or whatever, right? But
And
because I
also it comes from a sense of accepting that you don't know something that you think that you know.
right,
That's hard to accept as well. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying?
and so because I said no, right?
Mhm.
The guy was there to say yes, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Hmm.
But you see how I missed that moment, right?
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
because of what you and I have been taught, right?
Right.
And then check this here out, right? Then as I'm studying intimacy, right? I'm a certified clinical sexuality coach and master sexpert, right? So as I start learning about the woman's body, there's only 6% of women when they look at they asked there was a survey of 555 women and they asked them what's the easiest way for you to experience an orgasm, right?
Hmm.
And only 6% of those women said through straight penetration.
Yeah.
Only 6%.
Mm.
And so as we're taught, man, you got to pound it, you got to do X, Y, and Z, you
Right.
got to break a back, you got to smash, you got to do
Right.
X, Y, and Z, right? Only 6% of women
Hmm.
truly feel fulfillment through just penetration.
Right.
Now, let's see. Hey, can you have you had the conversation? You keep this on yourself. You got to say X, Y, and Z. Have you had it? Can you have the conversation? Have you had the conversation? Hey, baby, how do you really get the full experience? What way do I need or do I just need to hold it right there?
Hmm.
For you to truly walk away with, because remember, in an intimate relationship we both have to walk away with a positive experience, and it's in a reciprocal relationship, right?
I'm with you.
How many times, let's just say after just 2 times a month, right? Because I did it, right? I was doing the numbers, right? 2 times a month that she walked away unfulfilled, right? Because I ain't listening to her, right?
Right.
That was 480 times that she walked away unfulfilled.
Right.
480 minimum.
Hmm. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? So
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
can understand why
Right.
brother on the divorce
And
side.
but and it's the
Go
and
ahead.
it's the same way for us
Mm-hmm.
because when we're with a woman who doesn't, how you got the woman that just sits there, lets you just do what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do what you're gonna do, and as soon as you get finished, you done, and that's it for her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, in her mind, she think that she done gave it to you, and now y'all in a relationship or whatever. At least that you like her. You know what I'm saying? Because you done did
Mm-hmm.
everything and got you. You know what I'm saying? So, but in your mind, you're like, please, this is just a waste of time. I just did what I had to do so I can be done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
But
and that's
you
and that's
don't have the
because
conversation
mm-hmm.
because you either a don't care. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And you don't know how to have a conversation. How you have a conversation with somebody? You know, if it's somebody who you really care about. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You can try to have the conversation with the hopes that they're gonna be open and receptive to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So now
Yeah.
let's do this here. Let's do this here, good bro. Let's do this here. Let's help somebody out who's married, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's help somebody out who's married, right? Who wife is like just laying there,
Hmm.
and they're struggling in their sexual experience with their wife, right? Because she just laying there.
Hmm.
How do we begin to have that conversation? Because right now we're at 480 times, right? And as a man, you don't want to get to 485.
Yeah. As a man, you're not gonna get to five.
No, 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 no. But you're already at 480. You already
No, no, no. I'm saying as a woman, a woman will probably accept it a lot longer than a man would.
right. Oh my
You know what I'm
gosh.
saying?
And
That's
okay,
what I
so
mean.
okay, so
If a
so so now
man if a man is with a woman that has bad sex, he's going to move to another woman a whole lot quickly. Whereas a
right,
woman is with a man with bad sex, it's according to what it is that's bad. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
So
You know what I'm
so
saying? If he
so
can't get an erection or if he's not the right size for
right. So
her,
so
she'll
right.
have to move on. But
Right.
if
So
it's something else, like just the rhythm of the flow and all that kind of stuff, but he do all the other things, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
But
he's
but
nice
again,
to her, he buys her things, all that kind of stuff. You can kind of, you can, a woman will
no,
kind of
that
accept those
again,
things a lot longer.
but it just depends. It just depends on the woman. But again,
True.
we going back to how do we begin to have this fulfilling experience with our woman?
Well, yeah, you
How,
just kind of you have a
how do we how do we
conversation.
how do we how do we begin to have the conversation though?
Hmm. How do you begin?
Yeah, how do we begin? How do we begin to have the conversation? Like, hey, you know what?
Well, you have to
Um,
with the woman. You have to start with her. You have to be like, hey, I'm really turned on by you. You know what I'm saying? Tell me how you like to have it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And
Is
then
is
based
this
off of
something that you think you can do? in your relationship?
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to the physical intimacy, yes, no problem. It's
Okay.
them other
Okay. So
intimacies you was talking about
okay.
that
So
we
okay.
got a
So
problem.
now let's look at so what I'm saying is let's look at the cognitive intimacy
Right,
now.
right.
Now, how do we begin? Okay. So again, if we were looking at this cognitive intimacy relationship, right, reciprocity, right, and your wife was a drug dealer, right,
Okay,
and you shorted the drug dealer like you short your wife, what do you think would happen to you?
you be dead.
You'd be dead. Absolutely,
Right,
man. I appreciate. I appreciate. So now, so let me ask you this here. Then, so do you think that it is time for you to stop shortchanging your wife in the cognitive and emotional intimacy? Because if you did that with a drug dealer, that you would be dead.
oh, definitely. But I
But
think
what?
from the standpoint
No,
of
no. So can when we talk to a drug dealer, can we say, but I was able to. I know that we were supposed to be here on time, but can we
right.
be that way with the drug dealer?
Well, the difference is that
No, there's no
with a
difference.
drug conversation
Okay.
or transaction,
Right.
you know everything up front, and
Right.
whatever you choose not to do, that is a that is a decision that you
Right.
made on your own. When
Right.
you
And
talking about
so
with your wife or your significant other, the emotional intimacy and spiritual intimacy and cognitive, those aren't decisions that we as men make intentional. We're not
but you
making
are.
those on purpose.
But
We're
no,
not deliberately saying
because
I'm not
but
having no intimate conversation with her. No,
no, but
we
no,
don't
because
know how
that's because
to
we don't
have an
know how,
intimate
right?
conversation. So it's not
But
like
and you're
we not doing it on
but
purpose.
but and that's the whole purpose of this podcast is so
Right,
we can have these conversations because I'm letting you know, right, that you are required to have those conversations.
right.
And
And we
and
understand.
when you're
We can
and when
understand that,
no
but
no no
how?
but what
It's the
no, I
how.
get that. The how is to we gotta start being vulnerable, right?
Okay.
We gotta start being vulnerable, right? So what I'm gonna do is right, I'm gonna give you let me see here. Hold on. How we do this way here, right? Improving intimate the barriers to intimacy, right? I'm gonna give you these barriers, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna give you three things, right? And so three ways that we can get to the barriers of intimacy, right? And so we have lack of vulnerability,
Yep.
right? Let me give you three. Lack of vulnerability. When we're afraid to open up and show our true selves, we hinder growth of genuine connections. Vulnerability is the birthplace of intimacy. When we hide our fears from our wives, our dreams, and imperfections, we inadvertently create walls around ourselves. That's number one, lack of vulnerability.
Hmm.
Number two, poor communication. It's not just about talking, it's about listening, understanding, and validating. So when you're talking with your wife, the moment, right? We got these three things, right? We got listening, understanding, and validating,
Right.
right? Don't look for reasons to disagree, right? You should not be disagreeing with your wife because she's smart. She's like the smartest, one of the smartest people you got on your team, right?
Right.
So it's about listening. As get write it down, listening, understanding, and validating. Oh, baby, you're right. I see what you're saying, right?
Right.
If a person feels, watch this here. If a person feels unheard or misunderstood, intimacy can't flourish,
Yeah. I agree.
right? So now if we're looking at improving on the emotional and cognitive intimacy, right? We have to start right like today, listening, understanding, and validating. Validating, like, oh, I see what you're saying. I hear, you know what, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry that happened, right? Validating.
Hmm. Right.
Because if a person feels unheard or misunderstood, just think about how many times just give me like a number, like two times. If again, looking at this thing here, like two times a month that your wife was not heard or misunderstood, right? Or you
Right.
didn't validate it. So we're at 480 times that you've done that over 20-year period, right? We
I
know
got
that
that.
intimacy cannot flourish, right? I want you to think of this as a bridge. Think of vulnerability as a bridge, communication as a bridge. Communication is the structure, right? That support intimacy, right? And then we got this third thing here. We have unresolved traumas, right? Past experiences, especially unresolved traumas, were the times in which you were told that you couldn't talk, you couldn't share your feelings and emotions. Unresolved traumas can cast long shadows over our ability to connect. Whether it's trust issues or fear of abandonment, these emotional wounds can be barriers to deep connections. Just think about how deep your connection could be with your wife if you had a more vast emotional vocabulary.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Healing and acknowledgement are essential steps towards building intimacy. Watch this. Here we're going to say it again. Healing and acknowledgement are essential steps towards building that intimacy with your wife, right? So here we go. Here we go. To cultivate intimacy, right? We must confront these challenges head on by becoming more vulnerable, improving our communication, and addressing our traumas. We pave the way for deeper and more meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
Talk to me, good brother.
Oh yeah. I totally agree with all of that. My only issue is if you're coming from a place of where you expect a safe place, then
Mm-hmm.
yes. But if you out here living a single life, you know what I'm saying? You can't just
Right.
be all vulnerable all over town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you,
So
yeah, sure.
that gets a little. That's where it
Right.
gets a little.
Right. And right.
It gets a little difficult to
Murky.
manage.
Right.
Like
Right.
me, you know what I'm saying? I go home to my wife and we can have that conversation because she know that I'm gonna come back home tomorrow and I'm gonna come back home
Mm-hmm.
the next day and the next day
Right.
and the next day. So she
But
feels safe and I feel safe. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But
Mm-hmm.
if you out here and you known somebody for a week or two or 2 weeks, you it would be very difficult to
Mm-hmm.
try to be vulnerable to for the purpose of increasing intimacy. It would be
Right.
real difficult.
Right.
So
It's
for the single person or for the
mm-hmm.
young that are coming up, you know what I'm saying, it would be difficult
Mm-hmm.
because the world is so much different now. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
got these girls growing up with parents telling them that they don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? And then you got
Mm-hmm.
these boys growing up, you know, with a totally different, um, you know, a totally different mindset as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's and so you get to you get to a point where there's a mindset shift after a certain time that goes by. You know what I'm saying? Because, otherwise you just in a toxic relationship. And there's been
Mm-hmm.
several toxic relationships. You see them all the time on these reality shows or whatever, or you see it on social media. These people don't know how to be in relationships.
Right.
Mhm.
I got you. All right. Well, we've man, I appreciate your honesty, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. Is
Oh
it? Do
yeah, I
you
learned
have
a lot.
any?
I have to say, I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. And I would love to have you back for part two.
Okay.
This has been great. So without I'm gonna close out the show right now. Before I do that, do you have any questions that you want to ask of me?
I know. I just want to let you know that I think that you're doing a great work, and more men who are real men, you know, need to hear this and start working on ways of being vulnerable so that you can get the most out of your relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because when a woman is safe, then she's more open to you. You know what I'm saying? So, and if she's more
Absolutely.
open to you, then you gonna have uh, a much better relationship than, when she's not. So yeah,
Absolutely. So,
so I think
so
that
here's one thing I
it's a
want to share
message
with
that
you. One
needs
other
to
thing
get
that
out
I did
more.
learn, as a master sex expert, that a woman has 14 arousal zones on her body. How many are you connecting?
Oh, that's deep.
How
Yeah.
many are you activating?
Well,
You get
can you
14.
send me a message with all 14 of them so I'll know where to go.
Oh, hey, listen. No, the thing is that the biggest one is her brain.
Okay.
One of them is her brain. One of the arousal zones on a woman is her brain. And if you're not connecting with her in the cognitive, emotional aspect, you're missing one of the arousal zones that could really get her turned on.
Yes. Okay.
Right? That's just one. So tune in.
Yes.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m., where we begin to uncover the 14 arousal zones on a woman.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
today we have learned that cognitive and emotional intimacy can stimulate the brain
Right.
of on a woman, right?
Hmm.
So, Intimate Discoveries, the podcast where every episode is one step closer to you experiencing a truly meaningful connection. This is Champ Franklin, and I am your host. And we
All
thank you
right.
for joining.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Beautiful. We'll tune in next week. We'll see you on Friday. Good talking, brother. All
Good
right.
talk.
Out later.